Every year on May Bank Holiday weekend, 16 of the brightest and most talented wrestlers in British and international wrestling all meet at the Electric Ballroom in Camden, London, for Progress Wrestling's Super Strong Style 16 tournament. Past winners have included Will Ospreay, Aleister Black and Zack Sabre Jr., and current Progress World Champion Luke Jacobs. And every single year, world-class wrestlers come from all over the world to take part in this tournament, and they come and they fail to win it, such as Shelton Benjamin last year, Ciampa in 2015, Chris Hero, Jeff Cobb, Keith Lee, Ilya Dragunov, John Morrison, and so many more. So whether you're a new Progress fan or a Progress Wrestling faithful, in this video I'm going to be previewing everything you need to know ahead of this year's tournament. The way the tournament is a very simple knockout structure. 2 different sides to the bracket, and of course all leading to the final. Knockout, 1 chance. Let's kick things off on the left side of the bracket with Man Like DeReiss taking on Ethan Allen. Man Like DeReiss has to be one of the most over stars in Progress Wrestling right now, and quite frankly, from his brief appearances in TNA, he is super over there as well. Undoubtedly a fan favorite and somebody who is going to get a massive reaction in the Electric Ballroom this weekend. He featured in last year's tournament as well, where he was knocked out by Shelton Benjamin rather controversially, so undoubtedly he will have a point to prove this year. And he will be facing Ethan Allen, somebody who we've actually interviewed here at Wrestling Republic on an episode of Sunday Night Spotlight before. He is the tag team partner of the current world champion Luke Jacobs, and he had over a year of his career taken from him because of injury, and this is going to be his debut tournament, so undoubtedly he's another person with a point to prove. Him and DeReiss have been feuding now for quite a few months, so this is undoubtedly the most heated match in the first round, but personally my prediction is Man Like DeReiss will go forward. Up next, we have Tate Mayfairs. Now, I hate comparing wrestlers to other wrestlers, but if you've not seen Tate Mayfairs before, the only wrestler in the world you can really even compare him to is MJF. This guy is cocky, he is manipulative, and quite frankly, he is pretty much a genius in the ring. And a lot of people hate to say that, but it is true. He's the master of mind games. Now, recently, he's been trying to get the fans back on his side. He's trying to say that he needs the fans to win this tournament, which does tell me there's going to be a story told throughout it. But it also does tell me that he's going to, turn on them at some point during it as well. But he will be going up against Noah's Masa Kitamiya. Kitamiya will be making his Super Strong Style 16 debut, but what is most interesting about him is that for most of his career, he has been a tag team specialist. I believe a 7-time tag team champion over in Noah. So can he do it in a singles capacity? That remains to be seen. My prediction is it's going to be an early knockout for him, as I am predicting that Tate Mayfairs will get the victory. Up next, we have Marcus Mathers. Now, if you've heard this guy's name recently, it is because he is a WWE ID talent. He's one of the most promising young stars in the sport of professional wrestling, only 22 years old. Now, this isn't his first time in a Progress Wrestling ring, but it is his first time in a Super Strong Style 16 tournament, and he is undoubtedly an underdog, but somebody who you cannot overlook, and part of that is because of the WWE ID status. I mean, WWE are clearly putting a lot of stock into Marcus Mathers right now, and if he was to go far in this tournament, that potentially could be a highlight reel which Progress could show for years and years to come. Up next, we have Will Cruz, and this one is quite interesting because this is a Super Strong Style 16 debut. But all signs have kind of pointed towards recently like he's about to get a push as a single star in Progress Wrestling. He just left the First family and said that he wants to do things on his own, and usually when stuff like that happens, there is a reason for it, and usually that reason is a push. So this bout is one which is incredibly hard to predict, but because of the WWE ID label, I am going to give the edge to Marcus Mathers. But talking about people who have just turned on other people, Charlie Sterling recently split up the Smoking Aces and turned his back on his tag team partner. And while undoubtedly him and Nick Riley did do everything there is to do in Progress's tag team division as the Smoking Aces, it was still a massive shock. And like I said, usually when tag teams split up, it does mean that they are going to get a push as a singles competitors. But here is the thing, he is going up against Simon Miller. Because what's interesting about Simon Miller is he only recently dropped the Progress Proteus Championship in a 5-way to Paul Walter Hauser at Progress Wrestling's tour in the US just a couple of weeks ago. And again, usually in professional wrestling, when somebody loses a singles title in a multi-man match, it does likely mean that they are being protected, which does suggest that he is going to go pretty far in this tournament. So again, another match which is ridiculously hard to predict. Now, I am going to give the edge to Simon Miller, just because he is so over right now that I would be quite shocked if he does take a loss here. As for the quarterfinals on the left side of the bracket, I am going to give the edge to Tate Mayfez over Man Like DeReiss, because like I said, I think Tate Mayfez is going to be telling a story with the fans throughout this tournament, and I do think he is going to go pretty far. As for Marcus Mathers versus Simon Miller, again, like I said, Simon Miller just dropped that championship. I think they're trying to protect him, so I am going to give Simon Miller the edge on that one too, leading to Simon Miller and Tate Mayfez in the semi-finals. On the right side of the bracket, we have another name from Pro Wrestling Noah, and this time it is Jack Morris making his Super Strong Style 16 debut. Now, what Jack Morris is most known for in recent times is being one half of the GHC Tag Team Champions, along with WWE star Omos. But the 31-year-old does have a lot of experience in the independent wrestling scene in the UK, because he was born in Scotland, and yes, he's found success in Japan, but now he is returning to the United Kingdom to try and find success in his debut Super Strong Style 16 appearance. But he is taking on somebody in Leon Slater, who at the age of 20 is taking place in his third Super Strong Style 16 tournament. Leon Slater has been finding a lot of success in the United States as of late in TNA wrestling. Of course, quite famously, that massive viral spot from this past weekend where he did the dive. Nobody really caught him, but he survived that, and he's taking that energy into the Super Strong Style 16 tournament with a point to prove. Now for this one, if I am being honest, I cannot see both Noah talents getting knocked out in the first round, so I'm going to predict Jack Morris purely for that reason. Up next with Kid Lykos 2, the prodigy of former Progress World Champion Kid Lykos. But don't you dare call him a sidekick, because this guy has a point to prove, and I genuinely think this year in this tournament, he is going to prove it. He did take place in last year's tournament, where he actually did get past the first round. But this year, he is going to be taking on another young star with an absolute ton of potential in Zozoya from Spain, right? And I've seen this kid quite a few times now, and every single time he really impresses me, but most notably, he massively improves. Seriously, every time I see him, he has made multiple leaps forward. But this will be his debut appearance in the Super Strong Style 16, and I do think it's possible that maybe he could be an underdog to go far in this. But like I said, I do think this could well be Kid Lykos' 2's year, so I'm giving Kid Lykos 2 the advantage in this one. Now up next, we have the match which in my opinion is the match to watch in round 1 of the tournament. Michael Oku going up against Kid Lykos. Michael Oku only a few weeks ago in the United States lost in a Progress World Championship match against Luke Jacobs. Michael Oku has never held that belt, and he desperately wants to cement his role as the top star in British professional wrestling. But he is facing a former Progress World Champion in Kid Lykos, the man who Luke Jacobs beat to win the belt in only 9 minutes. I don't want to call it a squash, but it was a huge upset. And since losing the title, Kid Lykos hasn't done much in terms of singles action, but I do reckon this tournament is going to be the turning point for him. In fact, and this is a huge call to make, but I'm going to make it, I believe the winner of this match will immediately become the favorite to win the entire tournament. And like I said, Kid Lycos has been surprisingly quiet over the past few months, mainly just doing tag team matches with Kid Lycos too. And for that reason, I do predict this is when he's going to make that step up once again. He is going to go after Luke Jacobs once again. The man who took his title, he is going to try and win it back. I am giving the edge to Kid Lycos. Now, like I said, this is a weekend-long tournament, right? And this match will be taking place on the Sunday. But, and it's a big but, Michael Oku does have a signing on day 2. He does have a signing on the Monday. So that does make me think it's interesting that Michael Oku is staying for both days if he is going to get knocked out on day 1. But even still, I'm going to predict it. Up next, we have a name which I imagine everybody is familiar with, former WWE star Trent Seven. Now, he has done pretty much everything there is to do in British wrestling, apart from win the Progress World Championship. It is the one thing which his entire career he has never managed to win. And he will be taking on in the final first round match Charles Crowley. And if you've not seen him before, he's extremely flamboyant, extremely fun, always entertaining to watch. And this match I do expect to be a little bit of a palate cleanser for this tournament and the absolute stacked day of wrestling they have on that Sunday. But while Charles Crowley will have a point to prove, I do think that Trent Seven has a bigger point to prove, and his ambition to win that first Progress World Championship, I think, will carry him into the second round. As for the quarterfinals on the right side, I am going to predict that Jack Morris is going to fall short to Kid Lycos 2. I do think Kid Lycos 2 is going to get one step further than he did in last year's tournament, and this really will be a breakout moment for him when it comes to singles action. But in the semi-finals, I do predict he will meet his teammate and his mentor, Kid Lycos, because I do predict Kid Lycos is going to beat Trent Seven and have Trent Seven's dreams of winning that Progress World Championship fall flat on their face in the quarterfinal. Then back onto the left side of the bracket, the semi-finals, Tate Mayfair's Simon Miller, something which is undoubtedly going to be a very, very enjoyable match. Two guys with a big point to prove. Now, this is tough, because I do think there is easily an argument you could make that Simon Miller could win this entire tournament. Like I said, it was interesting the fact that he lost the Proteus Championship without being pinned. He was very clearly protected in that. But like I also said, Tate Mayfair's I do think will tell a story throughout that tournament, and I do predict that story is going to go all the way to the final. I'm giving Tate Mayfair's the edge. On the right side of the bracket, Kid Lycos 2 versus his mentor, Kid Lycos. I do believe this is going to be a huge match on night 2, no doubt about it. But I don't think Kid Lycos 2 is going to break out of the shadow of Kid Lycos just yet. I do think Kid Lycos is going to make the final once again. So I predict the final will be Tate Mayfair's trying to win his first Super Strong Style 16. Meanwhile, Kid Lycos trying to win it for the second time in 3 years. Now, when it comes to the Super Strong Style 16, there is one really, really interesting fact. And that fact is nobody, and I mean nobody, has won the tournament twice. And I think Kid Lycos is going to break that record. Kid Lycos is my pick to win this entire tournament. I think he is going to come back for that title which Luke Jacobs took off him a year ago. But that is all you guys need to know ahead of this year's Super Strong Style 16 tournament. Who is your pick to win? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you did enjoy this video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe. Here at Wrestling Republic, we create daily YouTube videos, and in addition to that, we have a daily live stream every single day at 8 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. Eastern, and 12 p.m. Pacific, where we talk all things professional wrestling. I hope to see you guys there. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Peace!